Well, ladies and gents, the proverbial S, has hit the fan for Disney. It's looking like they've actually broke significant amount of laws with respect to their Reedy Creek and just generally how they've handled themselves in Florida. Significant laws have been broken, allegedly, by the looks of things. So there's been this brand new report which says the Reedy Creek tenure is essentially bribery. It's akin to self-dealing, which, if you looked at kind of anything that was going on over the last few years, yeah, that was pretty obvious, quite frankly. I think a lot of people had overlooked a lot of this stuff for too long. I mean, we've done videos on this on the podcast. We've done this here, generally, over on Midnight Sage, etc. And we said many times it's essentially self-dealing. What's going on? Why has no one pulled them up on it? You know, the shit will hit the fan one day, and it's looking like those chickens are coming home to roost. So let's take a look. This is fascinating stuff. This is a few days old, but I have been significantly busy, so I do apologise. But we'll get to it now, and hopefully you guys can still enjoy it. And we'll, take a look at all of this stuff, because it's fascinating. So it's not just these articles here. There was also a report from another YouTuber who is a practicing attorney, specialising in tax districts, believe it or not. So we'll take a look at that as well. So the Central Florida Tourism Oversight Board, which was an entity that replaced Disney's Reedy Creek Improvement District Council. And it's funny because they kind of frame it as, well, this is the Ron DeSantis staffed entity. Yeah, the previous one was a Disney staffed entity, for goodness sake. So it doesn't really matter. Like, at least now it's not staffed by Disney, right? It's interesting that they're sort of trying to throw that out there, but, it is what it is. So it's set to consider a scathing report it commissioned that calls the media giant's actions during its time in control over the area where Walt Disney World is located akin to bribery. This is not a small document. This is a 90-page document. And there's just loads of allegations. It will be a focus of a meeting of the board tomorrow, which we have the update on, so we'll get to that as well. Along with exhibits meant to show how Disney's co-opted officials of Reedy Creek with season passes and other perks. They bribed them. And when they released all of this, they openly released all of this in shareholders' calls. They admitted to all of this, and we said then, we were like, "What? Why are you admitting this? Why are you admitting this?" They even said it in arguments with Ron DeSantis. You shouldn't be admitting this. This is really bad. We said it then. I mean, it's crazy. So basically, the people who were on Reedy Creek's, council, Disney were giving them, employee benefits, significant benefits, not small, significant, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars worth. It comes amid a legal battle between the company and the Florida governor. So we had this statement, right? What is now evident is that Disney not just controlled the Reedy Creek Improvement District, but did so by effectively purchasing loyalty. The vast majority of employees at the RCID were working hard to do their job and were diligent in doing so. Nonetheless, because of the decisions made by RCID management and the Board of Supervisors, their work was tainted with the appearance of impropriety. As comprehensively documented within 4 years, the company treated district employees like Disney employees. For instance, providing complimentary annual passes, steep discounts, benefits and perks, or bribes. Not surprisingly, the district employees believed that it was their job to prioritise the interests of Disney. Of course they would. Why wouldn't you? So the report also says control over the inner workings of the district was exercised in additional ways. For instance, contract offers were sent out only to a closed list of approved bidders. I mean, that's ridiculous. Not only was there no way for new businesses to enter the mix, no mechanism existed to determine whether the district was receiving the services rendered at fair market prices. A Disney spokesperson called the report an exercise in revisionist history. You've literally admitted to this stuff on calls, you dipshit. Bob Iger literally admitted to this stuff. It's neither objective nor credible and only seeks to advance CFTOD's interests in its wasteful litigation that could derail investment within the district. Further, it does not change the fact that the CFTOD board was appointed by the governor to punish Disney for exercising its constitutional right to free speech. but you don't have a constitutional right to have a special tax district, you dipshits. This report also comes on the heels of numerous reports in the media which have raised legitimate concerns around the governance of the district under its new leadership. While the board may wish to undermine Disney's ability to continue investing in the region, we are extremely proud of our impact on the Central Florida economy over the past half century, and we remain committed to maintaining the highest quality experience for the tens of millions of guests who visit Walt Disney World each year. I mean, that's just pure nonsense speak. That's just I say all of this stuff, but I've actually said nothing. So the district is the source of a whole bunch of litigation. We know this, but it's crazy. I mean, this report is it's bloody big. So what was the and we'll go into the crimes in a minute, but what was the statement given here? So the appointed board approves the audit. They've reviewed it. They've approved it, accusing Disney of self-dealing in Central Florida. Cites activist stockholder on need for change. Hey, Nathan Peltz, please change things. So the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District Board, we know what this is, slammed the Bob Iger-led media giant for almost 3 hours straight over what its experts call decades of self-dealing they compiled into an audit. Board members, not surprisingly, voted to approve the document. It's not surprising, no, because, again, if you've listened to any of these things that they do on calls, they admitted to all of this stuff. They just admit to it. It's insane. Absolutely insane. So the new board is doing what it can to discredit the Reedy Creek reign of Disney, one of the biggest taxpayers and employers in the state. Grievances, look, if you can be, if you can be anti-Elon Musk for the stuff that he's done, even though he pays numerous amounts in tax, etc., etc., why do so many people defend Disney? It's so bizarre, because the same people that are anti-Elon Musk, despite the amount that he's paid in taxes and, all the things that he's done, whatever. I'm not saying I side with Elon Musk here, FYI. But it's just a hypocrisy in the thought process. They're trying to say, despite the taxpayers and employers in the state, is the biggest one. It's like, that doesn't matter. Who cares? It's still self-dealing. Anyway. Grievances including a lack of housing and transportation in the district, that work awarded to closed loop of vendors and contractors, that the company didn't pay impact fees to mitigate the impact of its expansion, and that it offered free passes and discounts to Reedy Creek officials, including paying their property taxes. Sorry, what? You would pay someone's property taxes? Holy fuck, that's bad. That is insane. That's crazy. So Disney is by far the biggest taxpayer in the district, but there are other businesses and residents. The 1967 Act establishing Reedy Creek is fundamentally flawed, said Donald Cochin of George Mason University's Antonin Scalia Law School at the meeting, citing a lack of adequate safeguards and no self-correcting mechanism. Disney didn't respond to specific allegations, but reiterated a statement from yesterday calling the report an exercise in revisionist history. That doesn't make... Sure, fine. Doesn't change anything. Literally doesn't change anything. And yeah, there's this proxy battle between Nelson Peltz going to happen. So yesterday, CFTOD board member Martin Garcia attempted to conflate the two, reading from a letter by another Disney stockholder, Ancora Holdings, in support of Peltz's bid for a seat or two on Disney's board. A degree of shareholder-driven change is certainly warranted in Disney's boardroom, following an extended period of absent-minded governance. This is the poor governance that we were experiencing in this district. Disney controlled the old Reedy Creek board, and so it's a trickle-down effect. As the shareholders of Disney currently recognise, there is a leadership problem, and that trickled down to the old board. Yep, agree. And another Disney stockholder, Blackwell's Capital, has called on Peltz and his firm, Trian Partners, to end what it called a misguided and ego-driven campaign to seek board representation. No, it's not. It's not ego at all. Are you making money? Like, are you giving dividends? Are you maximising your potential? No, you're not. So it's not ego. It's not ego-driven or misguided. It's literally, hey, we want to make some money on our investment. These people are so dumb. Anyway, so we've got this here. So this is an article which, it essentially covers Legal Mindset, who's a YouTuber, and his thoughts on this entire situation. So this is a chap that specializes in, well, specializes in a special tax district law, basically, in Florida, specifically. So, he's going to know what it's on. He's done a 3-hour video, but he's also done it bit by bit. And this article on that Park Place has broken it down into 12 actual crimes, basically. So we got this, theft and misappropriation of public funds. So the RCID was a government put in place by the Florida legislature, not a private company, and given governmental powers akin to a county's over virtually everything from zoning to building codes to police, fire, utilities, even the right to build an airport and a nuclear power plant if they so choose. So unlike the statements by misguided pixie dusters, this particular special district had powers unlike and vastly greater than any other district in Florida or the USA. So it says every dollar from public funds must be spent for public purposes, not private company benefits directly. That's why this is both misappropriation and outright theft of those funds. So the funds to police only Disney property. So that's part of it. 3 huge parking garages with citrus names at Disney Springs Shopping Center were built not by the mouse for their use to serve them and their tenants, but the RCID were public funds. Public assets like water and power, sewer, road development, all paid for with public money from taxes and or tax-free municipal bond money to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars, were all serving Disney only. So it's literally like, yeah, we'll co-opt this government just to work for us. And that's insane. Misuse of public position. So this happens when any public official, so the RCID leaders and employees, use public property or benefits to, or assets for themselves, not the public good. So, park passes, special access to private employee events, 40% discounts on Disney Cruise Lines, host of other benefits that should have only been given to Disney employees, but were granted to the RCID people. So, yeah, not cool. Bribery. So again, that sort of goes back to what that was, paying for people's property tax and things like that. Official misconduct, breach of fiduciary duty, which we've said a few times actually here when there's ever been a call, a shareholder call, etc. Fraud and false statements. So there's that as well. Public offering fraud and MSRB, Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board violations. Falsification of records. That's a state crime. Securities fraud. So that as well. There you go. Oh no, there's more. Sorry. Misuse of federal funds. So again, the RCID not working to the benefit of the entire district, just simply Disney. Yeah. And then RICO. So racketeering, basically. And corrupt organisations, etc. So what do you guys think? Disney's absolutely wrecked here. Especially, they're kind of seeking legal action against Ron DeSantis. If anyone has an issue with what Ron DeSantis is doing, you've got to look at it from the perspective of, does Disney have a right to have the special tax district? No, they don't. No, it's not a right that company has. So it can be stripped whenever. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop it down below. Yeah, it's fascinating watching this sort of company that was a powerhouse, a behemoth, a monolith, as you would, just crumble and burn. Massively comical.